We're back with the final Apocalyptic Shadow for this patch before moving on to the new planet Amphorius. Regardless of my excitement for the new story content and whatnot, I'm here to show you how to clear this absolutely atrocious Apocalyptic Shadow cycle. As is tradition, side 1 is much more difficult than side 2, so for the most part, all my resets this time were spent here fighting Cocolia. She has been an AP boss multiple times, and her main mechanic is the 100 turns she gets and all the debuffs she can proc. She sometimes acts 5 times in a row, with 3 turns guaranteed to freeze a unit with lower effect res. Freeze is especially annoying in the first half because you get action delay and your first turn gets skipped. I tried a lot of team cops and I ultimately landed on this Fexiao, Moze, Fushuan and Ruan Mekong. Fushuan is here for the high survivability and the effect res she gives per use of her skill, which overall works out better than removing debuffs. Someone like Huohuo would actually be better here, for sure, but since I don't have her, plus the quantum break from Fushuan's ultimate is useful in some cases. Ruan Mei here is for the additional break effect, but also to buff Moze, because during his skill, the only way to buff him is to have a buff field, like Ruan Mei ult and skill, since he is untargetable. Moze here is probably the most controversial pick. I tried this side with Mat7th and Topaz, who could arguably do more damage overall. But I realized my losses were from a lack of weakness breaks and not the damage. Plus Moze is Electro, which is perfect to kill Jeopard ASAP. You probably saw in the background gameplay that I'm ignoring everyone except Jeopard right now, and that's because on his second turn he puts up a shield on all the enemies that is annoying to deal with. So the idea is to get him off the field as fast as possible, which is where Moze helps with his constant follow-up attacks to reduce toughness. I opt to ignore the summons and Cocolia and instead eat the damage they dish out, because if the shield goes up, I've almost certainly lost. Also, unfortunately, if you get rid of one summon and then Cocolia gets a turn, she will just re-summon and lose her weakness attribute. So you need to time it in such a way that you break both summons together and you can weakness break Cocolia relatively close together. But all this is only after getting Jeopard off the field. With
I see through you. Converge and awaken. Human creations.
Our position is so.
Thanks, claws got dull.
Champion of eternal winter.
Nomad. Yin and yang. Eternal.
Ruan Mei, one Moze ult is enough to break and kill the summon with electro weakness. My suggestion is not to waste a skill point using Moze skill on it and instead use a basic attack if Moze's prey state ends. On the other side, Fexiao cannot break the wind weakness of the summon with one skill, she needs another unit to basic it and trigger a follow. These are a few things I have to keep in mind for this stage. These little nuances will change depending on what team you're running. For this side, it's hard to manage skill points because unlike other stages, you're basically spamming the skill on Fushuan, so you can avoid some crowd control, and Moze does not generate skill points. Overall, it's very skill point hungry and you will sometimes lose Ruan Mei buff or Fushuan debuff resist.
Show me what you can do. I'll give you 5 seconds. The fearless will not fear. I venture forth to hunt. Forever triumphant. Victory is inevitable.
Together as one.
I venture forth to hunt. Forever triumphant. Victory is inevitable. That was good.
Grace and elegance.
One of the modifiers for this stage is that enemies take more damage the more weaknesses they have. So Cocolia will take more damage with 4 weakness elements than when she only has 2. That's why I try to break all the summons together, just to maximize damage.
Some value, I suppose. Eternal. A quick
Every petal and all will be swept away by the wind.
All things human creations.
I venture forth to hunt. Forever triumphant! Victory is inevitable!
Follow all this and you'll be done with the first health bar, with some difficulty, but it is possible. The second health bar is both more and less annoying than the first. She forgoes her freeze for an imprisoned debuff, which is only an action delay and not a turn skip. But what she doesn't lose is her turns. She still acts 6 times for my 1 turn, which is insane. Another annoying mechanic is she now has 4 summons. They can no longer respawn, but each one only has 1 weakness. As you might have noticed, I don't have a pyro character on this team. What I have to do here is use Fexiao ult on the pyro summon, otherwise I cannot break the pyro summon. Yes, it's wasted damage, but I don't have much choice. I depend heavily on Fushuan ultimate to break the quantum weak summon, and then Fexiao can finish them all off once they lose their damage negation. The AoE nature of Fushuan ultimate also lets Moze use a follow-up attack here and there until the electro summon is dead. And in his next turn I can set up again just before I break Cocolia.
Every petal and
All will be swept away by the wind.
together as one. Human creations. Enjoy yourself. Ready to be crushed. Yin and yang.
Thank you, Club got dull.
I see through you. Converge and awaken.
Translates into hope.
There's more to life.
I venture forth to hunt. Forever triumphant!
I've already set up Praise State on Cocolia using Moze's skill. Now I have to survive long enough to get to the damage phase. Losing out on Ruanmei weakness break efficiency is pretty bad, but the hungry SP nature of this team means some sacrifices have to be made.
All things in this world.
I'd rather survive and lose 1 damage cycle than lose a unit and fail the phase.
Together as one. Some value, I suppose. Every petal.
All will be swept away by the wind.
Translates into hope.
Yin and yang. things in this world have humongous creations.
Power translates into hope.
And gain.
Time to reap. Cannot hide.
Grace and elegance. Every petal, all will be swept away by the wind. I see through you. Converge and awaken.
I venture forth.
As some of you might have noticed, I'm not going to get the 3300 I need on this side, but it's okay because side 2 is so much easier that you can breeze through easily. Side 2
I venture forth to hunt forever. Triumphant! Victory is inevitable!
is the new boss, the banana tree. With it comes a brand new mechanic. All 5 enemies share one health bar, but their toughness bars are different. The way this side works is each enemy has a counter. It's that little circle next to their health, and once it fills up, they get weakness broken. The actual toughness bar on the top of the screen only goes down when you break the toughness of each individual enemy. As an example, the T-Rex in the middle has a circle that says 2 out of 8. That means if I hit it 6 more times, it will enter the weakness broken state. Once it gets weakness broken, it will give my units a random buff, and a little bit of the boss toughness will be depleted. The strategy for this side is bring AoE units and keep attacking everything on your screen. Lingsha has True Blast, hitting all 5 enemies with her skill, her ult and her summon. Acron ultimate hits everyone, and her skill hits 3 enemies. Gunaifen ultimate and Pella ultimate also hit every enemy, and Gunaifen skill hits 3 enemies. So we basically have true AoE on all 4 units, which makes this go smoothly.
Enemy targets detected.
The focus on this side is to get breaks, as many as possible and as fast as possible. The buff I chose for this side is 70% additional ultimate damage to weakness broken enemies. But that only applies when the boss toughness bar is broken, not the individual toughness bars. Keep an eye out on the counts and actively choose to hit units that get the weakness broken state, because they also give random buffs like action advance and skill points.
May the foul stench just be quick.
Happy New Year!
Serious, huh? The truth burns cold. Everything in this world is bleeding.
This side is fairly simple. Acron ultimates hit for over 2 million, and the troop just gets instantly deleted. Gunaifen has a good vulnerability multiplier, so I try to alternate between the left 3 and the right 3 for a skill, so that every enemy has a 28% vulnerability debuff when I do use ultimates. I believe you need either 6 or 7 enemy breaks before the boss toughness is depleted, so don't assume you can just break all 5 group members and then move on to damage. Always pay attention to the little number next to the health bar. And yeah, nothing much on this side. Rarely was I ever close to dying. Lingsha heals a lot, especially in a comp like this where I'm spamming skill and I get free skill points from the enemies. This side is where you can make up for any losses on the previous side and easily get the 6600 total necessary.
Time to cleanse the filth.
Still waters of oblivion. I weep for the departed. It too shall fall. How familiar.
Commencing support. Ready for another? Allow me to purge the root of the problem.
Be of your body and mind.
Just pass for oblivion.
Enemy targets detected. Enemy data secure. Net markers activated. Time for a good old counterattack.
The truth burns clear. Everything in this world is bleeding. Time to cleanse the filth. Forget your wallet? Don't throw a game.
I weep for the departed. It too shall fall.
I'll feast your Happy New Year.
Still waters of oblivion.
Commencing support. Ready for another?
May the foul stench dissipate quickly. Be of your body and mind.
Enemy targets detected.
Allow me to purge the root. Yeah.
I weep for the departed. It too shall fall.
Builds are mostly the same as every other video, except I just wanted to explain that when you use the skill on Moze, it counts as a debuff for Deep Diver. And since him and Fexiao are Hunt, he gets the Izumu buff as well.